6.ee.6. The learning target is I can write equations with variables to solve problems. So the idea here today is to be able to write equations for certain situations. The vocabulary word is solution, and the solution is not how much something ends up costing, or it's not the final answer. The solution is the value for the variable. It's what the variable could equal to make the number sentence true. Okay, so here's your notes. If you're taking notes right now, go ahead and write this down. How to write an equation. First, you're going to assign a variable to stand for the unknown number. So when you do your quick check problem today, figure out what's the unknown number, and you're going to use a variable for that. Then, step 2, you're going to use operations and numbers to represent the story problem. After you do that, you're going to check to be sure that you use correct order of operations. You'll need to use parentheses in certain situations. You'll need to multiply or divide and have them in the right order. So here's an example of the kind of problem that you need to do. Here's an example of writing an equation. So, a basketball tournament charges $30 to enter plus an extra $9 for each player on the team. The Eagles basketball team paid $138 to enter the tournament. We're going to write an equation to represent the amount of players that the Eagles basketball team, represent the amount of players on the Eagles basketball team, and we're going to use P to represent the amount of players. So step number 1 was to assign a variable, and it's already assigned. P equals the amount of players. Okay? So, to figure out how much this is going to cost, what do you do once you know the amount of players? Well, the amount of players, each player has to pay $9. You have to pay $9 for each player. So for that part, we're going to multiply 9 times the number of players. That should give us the cost for each player. And then we're going to have to add the rest of the cost. The other cost is the $30. So it's going to be 9 times the number of players plus $30, and in this case it added up to $138. Okay, that's the equation. We could solve it, but that's not what this lesson's all about. This lesson is about writing an equation, and that's what this is. The tournament charges this for every team that comes. They take $9 times the number of people on the team, plus a $30 entrance fee. And that team in particular had to pay $138. So we could figure out how much that was if we wanted to. You could solve for the number of players. You could undo this adding 30. And that means that 9 times the number of players ends up equaling 108. So what number times 9 makes 108? We could divide by 9 to figure that out. So the number of players in this case is 12, but that's not the point of this lesson. The point of this lesson is being able to write that equation. So let's look at the extra examples. Kylie buys 4 skateboards online. She has to pay an additional $37 delivery fee. The total cost for the skateboards and delivery fee is $157. Select the equation that represents the cost per skateboard. Let C represent the cost per skateboard. How many skateboards did Kylie end up buying? 4. So she's going to have to take 4 times the cost of each skateboard. So she's going to go 4 times C. However much the skateboards cost, she's going to multiply it by 4. But then she has to pay a delivery fee of $37. So she's going to add $37 to that. And the total cost ended up being $157. So which of these equations matches up with that? Not this one, because they forgot to multiply 4 times the C. This one has 4C minus 37, which isn't right. This one doesn't have the $37 delivery fee at all. It's going to be this one. 4C plus 37 equals 157. Next question. Which of the following scenarios can be modeled by the equation 2y equals 5 plus y? All right, so let's look. Aaron doubled the amount of apples needed in a recipe Mary added 5 extra apples to the same recipe. Aaron and Mary used the same amount of apples. Okay, so Aaron doubled the amount of apples needed in a recipe. So if Y represents how many apples you need, Aaron doubled that. Mary, who also used the same number of apples, added 5 extra apples to the same recipe. So that would be the same. Looks to me like that situation could be represented by that equation. The next one. Mary has 2 times as many apples as Aaron. Aaron has 5 apples. That would not be represented by that equation. Pretty much you could figure out that Mary has 10 apples and Aaron has 5 apples. You don't need an equation for that one. So that's not it. Hey, why is it not writing? There we go. All right. Aaron doubled his money on Monday and earned $5 more on Tuesday. Well, if he doubled his amount of money on Monday, that would be 2y. And if he earned 5 more, it would be 2y plus 5. But that's not the equation that we have, so that's not the right answer. Let's look at the last one. Mary's age is double what Aaron's will be in 5 years. Mary's age is double what Aaron's will be in 5 years. So if Aaron is y years old, in 5 years, that will equal Mary's age. Mary's age is double what? Now, Mary's age will equal Aaron's age in 5 years times 2. This is not the same equation. So it's the first one. All right. Last example. James made 18 calls at work on Wednesday. This was 5 more than half the amount of calls he made on Tuesday. Okay, select the equation that represents the amount of calls on Tuesday. Let C represent the amount of calls. Okay, so James made 18 calls on Wednesday. That equals 5 more than half the amount of calls on Tuesday. So half the amount of calls on Tuesday would be C divided by 2. That was 5 more than half of that, so you have to add 5 to that. So there's the equation. See which one matches up with that. I'm looking for C over 2 plus 5. Here it is, C over 2 plus 5. That's the correct answer. So we're going to do your quick check problem. Your quick check problem is very similar to the example that you wrote in your notes. This example right here. So, find the variable. It tells you what variable even. So you're going to use H. Do what you need to with the amount of hours to show how the mechanic charges people. Get the equation written, and then show the teacher. Good luck.